Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. I'm just a question asker. My name is Raheem Aljamain out of Atlanta, Georgia, but we got two of my brothers from another mother, but we got the same father on with us this morning. We got first the wise man. This is Mr. Donald Toussaint. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Huh. I'm all right. I was better before you throw that sheet over me.
he want to kill that. So we're gonna before the week over, we're gonna kill that. But he still
Thank you
we
very much.
we're not gonna call him that no more. But at the same time, that don't take away it. It might take away the name, but it won't take away the title. He's still gonna wear that title like a badge of honor. How you doing, sir?
All right, man. I'm okay. Good morning.
Good. Well, how was your weekend?
Man, I had a good weekend. Look, I tell you what, I know we're gonna have some talk, but I think I had a good service yesterday, man, and I think I found me a pastor.
Mm,
You know, pastors need pastors, and I think I found me one.
good deal. Good deal.
Yeah.
Hey,
Mentor.
wise man.
Yeah, wise man. Got to be. I sure ain't
Mhm.
gonna get one of them. Oh, I can't say that.
You don't
Yeah,
want
I
no
might as well go and say, go get a dummy to guide me.
you don't want that one of them old bootleggers. Don't want no
Look,
bootleg.
bootleg.
Yeah, there you go. Them old bootleg, old pastor, no bootleg. Anyway, Ryan, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Doing good, sir. Doing good. How you doing?
Hey, doing good, man. Tell me something. How was your weekend, brother? What you doing? Did you get any rest at all?
No, no rest. Saturday was my son's ninth birthday party,
Oh,
and so we had that, and then I took him to the Detroit Zoo yesterday,
mm-hmm.
and uh, well, I tell you, it get worse and worse every time I leave the house. My
Listen,
wife was walking through there. We was looking at some of these women folks in there, and what in the world is she wearing it with her kids for?
yep.
Oh, it was terrible.
Mm-hmm. That's what you get, man. That's exactly what you get. Um, and that's a part of what we're going to talk about today. That's a part of what we're going to talk about. So that's a perfect transition. But before we transition, I want to go ahead on and give the phone number. If you could call in, be a part of the conversation. Very simple. All you have to do is dial what's the number? 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. And I'm gonna ask this question too. So I'm coming right back to you. And I'm gonna ask this question. And we could open it up to wherever y'all want to go with it. May go two different places. But Tucson, when is enough enough?
When you had it,
Mm-hmm.
you know how you say, "I've had enough."
Mm-hmm.
So I say, when you had enough is
Mm-hmm.
enough.
How do you
Because
know?
well, that's the hardest thing because people stay in things that they continue with things that they've been said I had enough,
Mm-hmm.
but
Exactly.
they keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but hopefully you get to the point that you had enough before it consumes you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When you start depreciating, is that good to say?
Yes.
I think that's enough. When it start taking from you who you are, your self confidence, your worth as a whole, that's enough. That's enough, man. You don't have to go no further. Stop it.
But see, and that's the very thing right there, Tucson. That's the very thing. We know it, but a lot of time when a person is in that situation, they don't stop, man. They keep going and they keep going. Before you know it, it has not started to consume them, but consumed them to the point whereas they're being eaten inside out.
Yeah. And so I think, well, I guess that's why you have to have a inner circles that's helpful,
Mm-hmm.
that you would have enough confidence and listen to them, to even to when the last person that know you in trouble is you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can't see your predicament because you're too close to it.
Wow.
But other folks can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have the right circle, that past experience say you at least can take some of their advice. I think you should take that into consideration and say, hey man, I need to think about what they telling me because they telling me, man, I don't look right. For
Mm-hmm.
instance,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not
Mm-hmm.
acting right. I'm out of character. That's enough, man. My
Mm-hmm.
matter of fact, uh, things are looking a little shady.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can't keep nothing. It's enough. That's enough, man. I mean, really. Now here's another thing. Now shut up. When you start going and you don't want to deal with nobody, you're secluding yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good sign. I
Wow.
think that's enough too.
Mm.
Come
Mm.
back to the light, Caroline.
Something ain't going right.
No.
Something ain't going right. Let me as Ryan and Ryan may have a totally different outlook on this thing. So I want to get his standpoint, his view as well. So Ryan, when is enough enough?
Old Tucson had to bust out the Caroline.
Exactly. Exactly.
So when I was younger, my Pastor Miles, he used to always, you know, give the calling. And so he would always say, devil, enough is enough, and too much is too much.
Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, he was on one. Um, and that's kind of how I feel. Like I think self seclusion, when you start acting out of pocket, you're not your normal self.
Mm-hmm.
And like Tucson said, you start losing pieces of yourself. That's definitely enough, and that's too much.
Mm-hmm.
But that's on a personal level. Um, when you're out in public, like I was saying at the zoo, and you wearing stuff that's supposed to be under your clothes as clothes, and you're out there with your children, that's too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we see some crazy things nowadays, but when my wife has to stop and look and
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, and there was another woman there. She had on a long pink dress, white stockings, platform shoes with a Care Bear backpack,
Wow.
looking all the way like a Care Bear herself. And it was one of those things like, wow, we was here to see the nature's animals. I'm not trying to like rag on nobody, but it's it's one of those things like it's too much. What are we
Mm-hmm.
doing? Like you wonder why people don't take you seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You wonder why nobody wants to offer you a job.
Yeah.
You show
Yeah.
up to a job and you dress like that.
Mm-hmm.
You go out in public with your kids. What does that say about you as a person? Let alone you got kids. Who gave you license to have those?
Exactly. 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 And that's the thing right there, man. We have to understand, man, because wow. I don't know why I'm going in this direction. But Tucson, let me ask you this question. You now I ain't even gonna go there because you gonna act up. You gonna act up.
I
I'm gonna
am
go.
not.
You
I'm
you
not going to echo.
It's Monday. Turn them loose. Turn them loose.
turn it loose. Okay. Tucson, you're a younger man, 24, 25 years old. You going on a date. And the first date you went on with this young lady, it was okay. The date was okay, but um she didn't dress right. She dressed too revealing for your taste. Second date, still the same thing. Now y'all ready to go on a third date. Y'all about to go on a third date. You're gonna take this young lady out. Y'all like hopefully y'all gonna have another good time. You go pick her up, go to the door. She come to the door smiling happy. and dress worse than she did the first 2 times. Tucson, how do you handle that? What do you do? Enough is enough now. You don't did this 2 times to me now.
Lord, I said I wasn't going to act up, but
Yeah, but
what time? What you say? How old I was?
24, 25 years old.
Oh, that's a pimp.
Oh, Lord.
That's a pimp. See, because I ain't, 24. I think I might have been. Yeah. So, see, I think this is just me, and I'm gonna just throw it out there like this, and I'm gonna go on. We're gonna go. You ain't serious about nothing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And your reasoning is different.
Mm-hmm.
If she's skimpy, that sounds like she's skimpy.
Very. So that's right down the alley at that age, huh?
Well, I can't take her home to mama,
Mm-hmm.
but I can take her on a late night date.
So if it's 8 o'clock, that's not late enough.
11. That's 11 o'clock date.
So, so basically, what you're saying is she's the date after the girl that you like and you really want to be with, and you take her out, you have a good time, you take her home.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just serious. If that's, I can't. I'm even when I was young, I always had to take somebody home. You have to be able to take somebody home to mama.
Mm-hmm.
And first of all, there was some things that was appealing to me that what you talking about, that no, there wasn't no first date. Just no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no. Even see, even the real, I guess you want to call player, if it was a player, just like playing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see everything, and I don't want everybody else to see it either.
Mm-hmm.
Let's surprise me with.
Yeah.
Let me be surprised. Don't just come out the door shocking the world.
But now you don't walked up to this door the third day. You walked up to this door, Tucson. Rung the bell. She came to the door. She
It
happy.
was nice while it lasted.
Mm.
That's about it, man. I ain't playing. I'm not playing because everybody, even at that age, you would be looking for a companion.
Mm-hmm.
I would think.
Yeah.
Unless you just going, to the clinic every once in a while.
Good Lord.
The clinic was available back in the day.
Oh yeah. I don't know nothing about that, but that's what they tell me. That's what they tell me. Let me go to Curtis.
You better go to somebody else.
Yeah, because I told you before. Ryan, didn't I tell him he was gonna act up? Didn't I tell him? I know him.
Yes,
I
sir.
tell you, he gonna act up. Curtis, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Hey, morning, man. Morning, guys.
Curtis, we're asking a question this morning, and I want to hear your heart from wherever you go, wherever you take this to, man. But in life, I'm gonna say it this way: in life, when is enough enough?
When you done had too much.
But a lot of times people have too much and they stay in those situations sometime until it causes them death.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
Mm-hmm.
Some people just don't recognize when enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get caught up in the euphoria of having so much, or of having that one thing so much that a lot of people don't even realize that their addiction to whatever that is actually an addiction to the adrenaline that you receive from doing and or going, from the endorphins that's released in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people don't even know that. They you know what I mean? Like it's like the person, you ever met somebody that every time you see them they angry?
Yes.
They just
Yes.
angry. They don't know why they angry. You know what I'm saying? And even when you talk to them, it seems like they enjoy being angry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Any behavioral science specialist will tell you, in most cases, that person has an actual addiction to the adrenaline that's being released in their brain from being angry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a high. It's almost like crack.
Good Lord. Good Lord.
The adrenaline, the rush. Uh, it's just like I believe people. I believe. I believe that's part of the reason why you got so much chaos going on, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are actually addicted to the rush, and it's like people who jump out. People want to run and do these extreme things. They adrenaline. We used to call them adrenaline junkies.
Yes,
You remember that terminology?
I do.
You know, I think once you become addicted to it, it's hard to decipher when enough is enough or when too much is too much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Asking the question this morning: when is enough enough? You're living life. Things that is wearing down on you. And you're tired. You become tired. But outside of being tired, when how do you recognize, how do you know when enough is enough? Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm blessed.
Good
How's
deal.
everybody else?
Hey, doing well, brother. We asking a question, man. How do you know? How does one know? Not necessarily you yourself, but how does one know when enough is enough? I've been in this situation too long, man. I'm done.
Mhm.
How do you know?
I get- when you hit that wall, when
Mm-hmm.
you hit that wall, it's just like spinning your wheels and staying in the same spot, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
no advancement.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, not even a creep head. You burn off all that energy for not.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's when you know. But I agree with when we start talking about the adrenaline. I mean, once for adrenaline, I don't know if I would have lived to be this long. Because it's just like getting up in the morning. It's got to be something that motivates you, that sparks you. It don't have to be it don't have to be something extreme, but facing demons, facing the devil. Um, just like most black people had to do when they get in the morning. It was just like prepare yourself for the day. You know what I mean? Where you pray or whatever, you go out. You're going out there to hell. So you're going to determine the way you're going to burn.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it gets exciting, going out there. I've been on protests. I've been in places where the Ku Klux Klan be, threatening your lives. The last time was a couple of years ago on Stone Mountain. And there was hundreds of them and no militants in sight, so about a handful of us, and but it means something to you. Just like being on Facebook or being anywhere now, you get the adulations and the likes and everybody, yeah, yeah, yeah. You say, all you gotta do is just say something. And,
Mm-hmm.
you get say the right people, and they go crazy. They hell with the truth or anything that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the way it is. Just everybody craves for that, and it's adrenaline. It's a dopamine, and being happy. Another thing is a dopamine. Being happy,
Mm-hmm.
being loved. That's dope. And physically trying yourself or pushing the limit on weights and stuff like that, right? That is actually a thing. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Where you could say that you feel that desire, that junkie, sexual acts. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? That becomes so addictive that it's got a word for it now. You know what I mean? I don't know so much today. I guess anything sexual nowadays seems to be addictive, but it's really a thing that where people just get so overwhelmed by their need, desire for the feeling, the touch, and even though they don't enjoy it, they don't have to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But just going through the act or the feeling or thinking about it, or they might even perform, but just going through it, so emotional that's a thing altogether. So yeah, that's a real thing. But when you get to a point that it starts causing you problems in your regular life, in real life, then
Mm-hmm.
that's classified as addiction.
Yeah.
That could be anything. Smoking cigarettes was addiction for me.
Mm-hmm.
I beat drugs. I beat heroin. I never did crack. I beat cocaine. I beat acid. I beat all kind of drugs. but I couldn't let go of that cigarette until they
Mm.
finally told me, the diagnosis, say, look, smoke another cigarette, you're gonna die. And I
Wow.
said,
Yeah.
I was no longer addicted.
Ex-
And no other feel in my life, the smells and everything. Just I said, how the hell did I live like this? I could smell other
Mhm,
people's. Oh, you know.
mhm,
Anyway,
mhm.
that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
There you go. There you go. Hey man, and it's a lot tied into when it's enough, man. Because you know it's different on different levels with the different people. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I can't complain, man. I'm just happy to see another beautiful day, man. What's up with everybody?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Good to have you too, brother. We asking a question, man. And everybody got their own stance on this thing. Everybody got their own stance on it. So I'm asking you, how do you know when is enough enough?
I'm glad you said that before you asked me that question. This is broad, because there's a little places you could go.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna try to do, I'm gonna try to narrow it down to where it can apply
Mm-hmm.
to every scenario. I think depending on the individuals, how much pride they have in, or how much self-respect they have for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
that determines when enough is enough. Because some people won't allow you to even cross the first line of disrespect because of how much pride they have in themselves, or how much self-respect they have for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, that also still goes back to how much love, pride, and respect you have for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on that individual, when enough is enough. Some people, right off the top, they'll nip it in the bud.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Enough is enough right now. We're not going to even start that mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And stinking cigarettes. I'm like Ibrahim, man. I remember when I didn't like cigarettes when I was young, and then all of a sudden I started smoking, and then I got to a point where I ain't addicted. I ain't addicted. I could quit when I get ready.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden it started messing me up.
Wow.
Every now and then I'd meet a woman that didn't like the cigarette smell, and I'd be like, well, you know what? I'm going to smoke and roll the windows down before I get the house. And then I get the house, and man, I strike out. I
Mm.
still couldn't get past her sensory of
Mm-hmm.
smelling cigarette
Yeah.
smoke.
Yeah.
But I thought I could beat it.
Mm.
Then all of a sudden, it got to the point where I didn't like the smell. Wait a minute, these things stink.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't quit. I was smelling my hand. I was smelling my clothes. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere I went, my room, man, it was stinking. I'm like, oh my God, I see why some of these women didn't like the smell of these cigarettes. I see why I turned them off, why they turned me down,
Mm-hmm.
why they sent me back home and busted and disgusted, didn't get to do nothing. They make it past first base.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't tolerate it. Now I can't even tolerate it.
Mm-hmm. That's
Key
right.
word, I couldn't tolerate it.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I was able, what I did, I conformed to that smell.
Mm-hmm.
At a
Wow.
young age, I got to a point where I was like, okay, it's okay. Same thing with alcohol, man. I don't care what nobody say. All liquor is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
The only time it tastes good is when you mix it in a drink.
Yep.
If you look at a person the first time they take a sip of liquor, they frown and they burn their chest, and it's just the most disgusting experience you could think of.
Mm-hmm.
And they might say, man, how y'all drink this mess?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, it's a little cool to drink some Hennessy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it's a little cool to drink that Patron.
Mm-hmm.
And that Grey Goose. Oh, man, it's cool to drink that Ciroc. And
Mm-hmm.
before you know it, you start hearing people say, man, that liquor good and smooth. I
Mm-hmm.
drank it straight on the rocks. No chaser.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of them people.
Yeah.
Now I can honestly say, man, that was disgusting. How did I even allow myself to acquire a taste for something so disgusting?
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
think, it comes back to that self-pride, that self-respect, and how much self-love you have for yourself. That determines whether or not you're going to even begin to start accepting something that's beneath your standards.
Exactly. That's good. That's good. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be like Toussaint for a minute. This is my testimonial moment. This is my confession. Um, I used to drink, man. I used to like beer. I used to like beer, man. I used to like, I used to drink up some beer. But man, when I stopped and my life changed and everything, and I stopped drinking beer, I tried to be grown one day. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go get me old Heineken. Go get me old Heineken, man. The big green bottle. Went and got that doggone Heineken, man. This was years ago, When and got that doggone Heineken. Gonna look at the football game. While my family was gone, it was gone down. My wife was actually gone, and had the girls that was gone. Um, and the girls was like maybe 1 and 2 or something like that, man. They in their 20s now, so you know how long that was. But man, I got that doggone Hennessy, turned the game on, took my shower, and everything. Later, gonna look at the game. Man, I popped the thing, popped it over, man. Got me a little glass, poured it in the glass, everything. Took the rest of it, put it in the refrigerator. Time for me to drink it. I turn it, I taste it. Man, the taste was just so horrible. The taste was so horrible to me. I was like, man, I used to love this. I said, man, I'm tripping. You know, I'm thinking Tucson. I'm thinking I'm tripping. I'm tripping, man. I'm give me another. I took me another. Man, same taste, man. I like, I went over to the sink, poured it out of my glass, poured it in the sink, went to the refrigerator, got the rest of the Heineken, took the top off of it, poured it down the sink, threw the bottle in the trash can, man, and that was it. That was it. It was like, man, I don't know how I know. And I'm thinking to myself, how in the world did I drink this nasty stuff all that time? Tucson, what's on your heart, brother? That's my confession.
Well, bless your heart.
Lord,
You know what? When I was always coming up, I always wind up being a designated driver.
Mm-hmm.
I would, you know, after about a couple of beers, I was done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think when I found out that enough was enough was when I started asking myself, man, what am I doing here?
Yeah. Oh,
What am
Lord.
I doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What am I doing? I'm kind of like Abraham. I died everything but crack.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not heroin. I didn't do that. At least I don't know if I did or not. I don't know what was in that marijuana.
Uh-oh.
But everything else,
Mary Jane.
yeah, I'm telling you. But I had asked myself, man, what am I doing? Why am I even out here
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
doing nothing? Ain't got nothing, can't get nothing. Seems like I don't want nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What am I doing? I keep doing it over and over and over again. It took me about a year to wrestle with myself, man.
Mm.
Because I had enough. What I had enough of had me,
Mm-hmm.
and it was hard to live.
Mm-hmm.
It's my confession. That's what you were saying.
Yes, sir.
It had me
Mm-hmm.
ripping, running, and going, and buying, and I wasn't sharing now. I have to admit that I wasn't sharing. No. And then while I was wrestling with myself, I would go buy it and throw it away. And my friends, people that knew me, they said, man, what you did? I'm just be out there, but okay. What you did with that weed you bought? Because they knew I was wrestling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They said, man, just let me hold it for you. No, if I don't want it, I don't want you with it either. So I just throw it out the window. And crazy me, that's why I said it had me right here. You should have seen. Going 70, 75 miles an hour down the highway, throw it out the window, and turn around and go look for it on the side, walk on the side of the road.
Mm.
Ain't that crazy?
Yes, sir. Well, hey, life, brother. Life.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah. 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 Some would say absolutely.
But I'm telling you, this not something that I'm guessing about or trying to make up a story. This life, this is my life. This is my life you're talking about now. But I got tired of me. I had to get tired of me before I can get tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I guess when enough is enough, when you get tired of yourself. Because some people love going downhill, which don't make no sense at all.
Exactly.
That's what's on my heart, man.
Good deal. Good deal. Ryan, talk to me, brother.
That's powerful. What he
Yes.
just said. When I get
Mm-hmm.
tired of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's that's a good one to go on right there because I struggled with alcohol too when I was younger. I used to be an alcoholic when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
All the problems I went through, I turned to the drink. I probably did every drug too, with the exception injectables and crack.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was my method of escaping from the madness. And then I got tired of it. I got tired of being a womanizer because all I was ending up with was thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
drinking away all my money. So I came out of that. But I was thinking about something else too. Like in the professional world, sometimes you get to that spot where enough is enough and too much is too much. Like dealing with people, and sometimes you gotta recalibrate. Like I had a situation last week where a guy damaged some of my racking in here with a forklift.
Mm-hmm.
He was brand new, never drove a forklift before. Not a big deal, right? It's a cost of doing business. I don't
Mm-hmm.
condone it. I let him know, not a big deal, man. It's not going to do nothing. You're not in trouble,
Yeah.
man. I can't lose this job. I got my kids, and it's cool, man. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what happened?
What's that?
No call, no show.
Wow.
2 days in a row.
Wow. The job he can't
All that
afford doing.
talking about can't lose my job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got to take care of his kids. Got to do this. Got to do that, and then he don't show back up to work,
Mm.
and that put me in a spot.
Yep.
I start getting angry. Went off on the rest of my employees.
Mm-hmm.
They left 5 minutes early, and I'm like, y'all need to show some respect to your job. You can't just be walking out of here when you feel like it just because everything is done.
Yeah.
And then I had to calm down, take that minute, and then go ahead and explain it in a different way instead of being fed up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, got protocols in here. If this building's on fire, I'm responsible for your life, and if I don't know you gone, I'm in here burning up looking for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I didn't really think about it like that. Yeah, you should think about that because it's not every day you get a supervisor who cares about your life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But
Exactly.
that's one
Good.
of those moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
Can't
start
go on.
getting fed up, and then it boils over.
Mm-hmm.
If it boils over, and that's that point where it's too much. So now I'm talking to our HR people. So I'm like, listen, you're gonna have to do a better job sending me candidates. I can't have people showing up here, be here for 2 weeks, and then peace out
Yeah.
because they're getting their feelings about one little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's hard nowadays, right? It seems like everybody in their feelings about something.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes it's just too much.
Enough is enough. Rico, talk to me, brother.
Yeah, man. I think to me the direction I want to go in is about the influence, being under the influence of these things that we know that's beneath us. Like what Donna was saying, looking around at where you were at and looking around at the crowd and the people that you're around and saying to yourself, wait a minute, what am I doing here?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
I caught myself in situations like that plenty of times where I knew that I was in a situation around people that didn't have, I couldn't relate to the first.
Mm-hmm.
We had nothing in common.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait a minute, man, what am I doing? When I got locked up that time, it wasn't nothing that I did wrong. I called the police, and you know what I'm saying? Just the way the system's set up. They listened to what the woman said and put me in jail, and they know it all common sense, even though I called the police.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then I caught myself, acting with people and entertaining conversations that I had to wake up and catch myself like, wait a minute, why are you even talking about this, man? This is meaningless. You having discussions with somebody that don't care about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you wasting your time? What you even doing in here? How
Yeah.
you end up dealing with this woman?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just so many questions. Like I said, when you recognize that you're somewhere you're not supposed to be, that means you also know that you have a better standard.
Yep. Yep.
You have you believe that you hold yourself in higher regard.
Mm-hmm.
See, the
Mm-hmm.
problem is that some people don't realize they're under the influence. You know I was under the influence of some sex. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody else, I'm different than everybody else. The only drugs I done did is cigarettes, alcohol, and weed.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't never did nothing hard. Didn't believe in it. Didn't believe in ingesting man-made stuff. You know, I already told y'all that I felt like when I was young that something wasn't right about eating meat. But what happened? I conformed.
Yep. Yep.
I was manipulated into fitting in. I was shown how to conform, how to
Mm-hmm.
acquire a taste. I had certain things that I saw that made me say, well, hey, man, even though these cigarettes nasty and I hate the smell of them, I'm going to find a way to fit in because some people look so cool smoking them. You see the way they blow them smoke rings? How they
Mm-hmm.
do that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they laughing at me because I'm coughing and choking. I ain't know how to smoke a cigarette right. They got to show me how to inhale it. Oh, they laughing to smoke first time I smoke weed. Well, why are you trying it anyway? Oh, you just trying to fit in.
Yep. Yep.
You wasting the weed, man. You just smoking and blowing it out, smoking and blowing it out like President Clinton. I didn't inhale. You got to hold it in.
Yeah. Gotta get that.
Now this weird feeling, you don't like it, but you willing to go through it because it must be okay. It's such and such doing it. You know, that could come from being a follower. You know, it just really goes to show you how easily influenced we are to go outside of our character and lower our standards and then get hooked or caught in a certain place, you know, behind certain other things that we desire. Ain't that something?
Mm-hmm.
We can acquire the taste for alcohol all because we really desire to find that calm that some people say they get that
Mm-hmm.
calms them down, that anxiety. Or we actually seeking and desiring to be drunk. We want to act the fool.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I can't wait to get drunk tonight. I'm gonna get toasted, boy. I'm gonna show my A tonight.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So you acquire that taste. You accept that taste. But you don't really understand the addiction of it. You don't understand how you can get hooked on it to a point to where you start desiring that feeling over just how nasty it is. So you can ignore the taste. You can ignore, I mean, it's all about influence, man. I mean, you know, and realizing your standards. To
Mm-hmm.
me, it depends on your character, your standards, what type of pride you have in yourself, the respect you have for yourself, and always being conscious of it, having principles, and then being conscious of if you are lowering your own standards. Some
Mm-hmm.
people don't realize it because they get caught up in the fear, the
Yep.
they get caught up in the results or the reward behind being intoxicated.
Mm-hmm.
That's the driving factor now. I like being drunk. I like being in an altered state.
And
Now I don't need it to calm me down. I need it just to get into a different reality.
you
But
know
then
what's
all
weird
of a
about
sudden
it?
you snap back to reality.
And you know what's weird about it? The next day, their verbiage tells the whole story. But the people don't even realize what they're saying. Man, I got messed up last night, man. Oh, they use a different F word. But man, I got messed up last night. Yes, you sure did. What did you do? What did you do to your
But they're proud.
huh?
They're proud. They're proud.
Yeah.
They want it to be messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Now they want a pat on the back for it. They want to laugh about it.
Exactly.
But when reality kicks in, I think that's when enough is enough. When reality kicks in
Absolutely.
of
Absolutely.
your true nature.
That's good. That's good. Ibrahim, talk to me, brother. Ibrahim. Ibrahim may have stepped away for a second. Tucson, talk to me, brother. Tucson, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The most interesting thing about that thing is that the next night comes again.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
You you repeat the act soon as the weekend hit. Living for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait. You know, there's even some people, they sober the whole week, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
But when the weekend hit, I'm finna the check in the hand, and I'm finna get towed up.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch guys, man. They even ride on the van, you know, company van, not the company van, but you know, guys working for the same company. They ride coming from the same area. They stop at the store with their check and head right to the alcoholic
Yep.
section.
Mm-hmm. Some of them
Can't wait.
Some of them cash their check in the liquor store.
In there.
Yes, sir.
Cash it and drinks on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Drinks on me for everybody.
Yep. Yep.
And then Monday morning come, can I borrow $20?
Never.
Wait a minute, man.
Never.
Hold up.
Mm-hmm. Never.
And then the story gets out in the workplace, and what he actually doing is borrowing your $20 to pay $20 back to somebody else he just borrowed.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
But enough about somebody else. I guess we doing the personal thing today. But yeah, man, I think I told y'all a couple of times when riding in the traffic circle till I realized that I had been in the traffic circle too long. Stupid.
Will it go around in circles?
And they're going around. Kept going around. Stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Stuck in the circle.
Mm-hmm.
And can't get out. And so I guess that's the way life is when you keep repeating the same act that you say, well, man, I got towed up last night or last weekend, man. And then the next weekend come, you say, I think I'll do it again.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you say about the one?
When is enough?
What do you say about the one that during the week, just like you said, Tucson, they're very pleasant. They're just the nicest person you want to meet in your life during the week. But come Friday evening, 8-9 o'clock, Saturday, before the weekend is over, you know they're gonna get beat up because they're gonna be drunk and somebody's gonna jump on them.
I knew you was heading in that direction. I know you was going head in that direction. Man, what happened to you?
Exactly.
I had a guy, a friend of mine, grew up with him, and he was, you know, and I used to run, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he seen me, he got cowboy boots on, but he want to race. Come
Lord.
on, Donald. He was kind of country.
kind of.
Toe up from the floor up.
Mm-hmm.
He want to race. Now, I don't know. I said, man, I ain't got time for that. But, you know, 3-4 steps. And instead of him breaking his fall, he put his hand behind his back.
What?
And fall. Skin up. I felt so bad. Skin up all his face.
Mm.
And you know what he said?
What's that? Did I win?
Me and my brothers let somebody jump on it.
Wow.
But you know what happened? The next weekend?
Same thing.
Drunk again.
Mm.
Same thing.
Mm.
I don't know how I was going. But you know what? The thing about it is that, you know, at a certain point, I would run with him. I wouldn't go fall on my face.
Yeah.
But
man, don't you race that man no more, knowing that man hurting himself.
Sometimes I realize, I guess I don't know if Abraham remember these days or had that experience, but you're not in that room, but you sure you think you are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Say it again. Say it again, Tucson.
You think you're in the bathroom, but you're not.
Oh Lord. Man. I ain't never did. I seen some folks do that, man. I seen some folks do it right there in the living room, man. I like, man, I see, yo, man, it's time for us to go, man. These jokers tripping here, man. Dude went in the corner and peed on the floor. I like, man, these jokers here too drunk, man. Nah, man, we got to go. Come on. Me and my brother got up out of there, man. Come on, let's go, man. Come on. We got time for this. Ibrahim, talk to me.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about my addiction to speed and amphetamines, but anyway, we had a bar. My family had a bar and a restaurant on Bankhead Chapel back in the 70s, and man, that was oh god, the murder. But anyway, so I was staying in an apartment that one of my cousins had bricked up and built and everything. I was staying in an apartment up on the hill, and man, and so I was staying with this girl, right, from St. Louis, and in one of my partner's apartment, and he got drunk, man. He came up, and I heard something on the door, right. And I opened the door. This Negro, he pissing on the door. But what really pissed me off, he had 3 times the tool I did. He said, "What is that? Don't worry about it."
Lord.
But he didn't know he did. He just like his eyes is opaque, right? And he just urinated like he right in the joint, you know. The rest of him down the hall, he right at that bedroom door. You know, I guess he liked what I had with me, you know. And I was like, dude, I had to move because I know my girl caught on to that. She was gay. She might be gay for it. So I had to go.
Lord.
But anyway.
Lord. Ibrahim, you Ibrahim,
you Alabama boy. Oh, Alabama boy. Oh, country boy.
Ibrahim, go on over there. Go on over there in that corner, brother. Go.
I got one story to tell you about one of my amphetamines. I used to use amphetamines a lot. And, speed. And I was coming out of Houston, Texas. I mean, not Houston, but down around anyway, down Texas with the load of onions out the Mexican border.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to be up in New York about a day and a half away, right? And back then we on 55 miles an hour, and I got a lot of road and a lot of interstate. So anyway, I was down the Mexican border, so we picked up a load of onions, and so the Mexican guy told me, man, they got some weed, you know. I got me a couple of kilos, put it right between the onions, and went up to and then when I got up to the dog check station, the dog smelled the onion there. He turned away, didn't look at me. I waited, the guy went on, and then I dropped me a couple. That's by the time I got Houston, I got on Interstate 10. And man, the acid started percolating, it peaked out, and all of a sudden I got so bad. The road was straight as an arrow, but it started curving and like I'm going through a curve and everything. So I said, so I stopped and I got back in the sleep. You know, I used to just smoke a joint or something, but I was shaking too bad. I couldn't even roll me a joint. I just hopped back in the sleep and I was holding myself. And I was telling somebody come knocking on the door, boom, 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 boom. And I looked at that. What the hell? He said, "Hey man, get move over." I said, "What? You in the middle of the hill station?" He pulled me over and got me over there. So I was back in the sleeping bag. I was shaking so bad, I got to grab me a beer. You know, like this a beer, calm me down a little bit. I thought I was good, but I just stopped. I started back later on. Then I had this girlfriend. She was an Indian.
Ibrahim, hold on, brother. Ibrahim, you got more stories.
Stop taking that Ibrahim, he was hampering my abilities.
Lord, he gonna finish your story.
I'll tell you too, man. Like the picture, okay, I'm gone.
Okay, stay right there, brother. You got a lot of stories for us, man. Let me go to Curtis. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Curtis, you there?
Oh, not too much, man. Not too much. Just listening to the stories, brother. Just listening to the stories.
Curtis, how do you gauge, if not for you, for other people? Because you being a counselor, man, I know you deal with this all the time, man. How do you gauge when enough is enough for someone else?
How do you gauge what?
How do you gauge? Because you being a counselor, people talk to you all the time and they pour out to you. How do you gauge when enough? This person has been through too much. We need to make some change in this person's life and make it right now. How do you know that? How do you gauge that?
Well, you gauge that they've been through too much through their experience, through their history, hoping that they be open and honest. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, and I think something we got to get out of our minds, we don't change nothing. Counselors, we don't change nothing. You know, change starts from within. And a counselor If you ever hear a counselor taking credit for the change in a human being, you need to run as far away from it as you can possibly be. Because
Wow.
probably it's really not a good counselor.
That's good. That's good. Wow. But you say you say, and I guess we're gonna pull our guest into the conversation because we got she has a story that she wants to tell about some things that's happening here in this area, and I want to pull her into the conversation. But Curtis, you said something that was real powerful to me. You said that you don't make the change, but don't you lay the foundation through your conversation and assessing that person? Don't you lay a foundation for that person to walk on?
No, you really don't do none of that. The person
Wow.
lays all of that, bro. All you really doing is giving
Your volume is a little bit low, Curtis. Your volume is a little bit low.
Hold on. Can you hear me right here?
Yeah, that's better. That's a little better. Yeah.
You hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
So all you really doing is showing a person options. Options of change.
Okay.
Opportunities. All you doing is bringing situations and circumstances to the forefront, and then I don't even want to say teaching them, but kind of laying out for them the appropriate way of dealing with things, or the appropriate social norm, and the inappropriate social norm. And sometimes, in order to get a person to recognize that something they're doing is maladaptive, is, well, for one, you're going to have to show them why. And sometimes you have to, all you really do is just lay out the change. That person has to pick that. So oftentimes people outside of counseling, they see a person change their life, right? And they'll think that, oh my God, thank you so much for working with my son and this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 blah. They don't even realize how much you took away from the person who was seeking the counseling. Because they the one that made the conscious choice to go in a different direction.
So basically, it's almost like as I minister to you, I'm also ministering to myself.
No, not all the time. Not all the time, because certain situations and circumstances, I've been in sessions with you participants that certain situations and certain circumstances I have never been in. So I'm not ministering to myself then, because I've never been in this situation. I can show you how it may appear to be maladaptive.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then we can make that choice. Prime example is okay. A prime example is being in a session with a female client who at the present time is living her life through a later state type of deal.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure y'all can equate
or
figure out what later stay is.
Absolutely.
Well, I've never had to later stay ever in my life. So I can't, in ministering to her, I can't be ministering to me because I've never had to lay to stay.
Yeah, I got you. Good deal. Well, Kirk, stay right there for a second, brother, because we got our guest. I'm going to pull my guest in, man, and she's going to tell us about the story that there's some things that's happened here in this area, and we're going to talk about that, and she's going to educate us on what's going on or what the next steps is. And so let me see, can I get her in here? Good morning, young lady. How are you doing this morning?
Greetings. How are you doing this beautiful day?
Hey, doing great. First, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk to you today. We supposed to have did this I think about a week, maybe a week or two ago. Some things that happened, and I'm glad that we was able to pull this together and make it happen. So thank you for being here. I definitely appreciate it. Before we get started into your story, tell us who you are and just a little bit about yourself. And I know the story is specifically about you, but I want my audience to know who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, thank you for the opportunity. I am Dr. Denise Abraham. I am the mother of Adeyinka and Kayla. And I wanted to just really get my daughter's story out to the press because every week people are learning why, people are fearful living in Gwinnett County, Georgia, where they're being unlawfully detained, involuntary for non-emergency traffic stops that lead them to fighting for their life and liberties behind bars in Gwinnett County. And that's what's happening, or what has happened and is continually happening to people all around this county and around this world, quite frankly. And my daughter specifically, I want to talk about today.
Okay. Tell us how it got started, what happened, and as we progress into the conversation, where are we right now? So
Okay.
what exactly happened?
So what I'd like to do, if that's possible, is really make sure I stay very specific on the press release that I have sent over to you
Mhm.
for a myriad of reasons, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. So let me start by saying that Gwinnett County government, Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office, Suwanee Police Department, Gwinnett County DA, and Georgia State Patrol and their agents are facing a federal lawsuit right now for police brutality, excessive force, unconstitutional practices, treason, unlawful and false arrests, conspiracy against rights, false narratives. There's so many defamation of character. And as a mother, all of the, I would say 80% of these things have affected me. 100% of them have affected my daughter, all stemming from unlawful home invasion that we had on October 3rd of 2022 and a traffic stop with no factual probable cause or civilian due process, leaving the peaceful inhabitants in fear of their lives. And those peaceful inhabitants are my family, my 72-year-old mother, my daughter, who is directly facing this pain and break of her rights, and my other two daughters. And
Mhm.
so I want to say that it started with October 3rd. And that is in the press release that I sent over to you, October 3rd of 2022, where um, our home, and let me make sure that I want to make sure that I stay to this press release, if you don't
Mhm.
mind.
Yes, absolutely.
October 3rd of 2022, um, it was a verbal, hear me, I want to make sure I say this clearly. It was a verbal standoff with Celestin Bay, which is my daughter, and me, and 15 plus Gwinnett County Sheriff Office agents, that was led by a particular sheriff that's in this press release. Now, I will tell you that this particular verbal standoff and them um, forcing themselves into our home is not documented anywhere in
Wow.
their records.
Wow.
We have requested it, and if it shows up tomorrow, we've requested documentation of that particular incident. They slightly mentioned it in someone else's another incident that happened, but there's no record of all of these tax-paying citizens in Gwinnett County that your agents were here at my home on October 3rd of 2022 in records. It's not.
Mhm.
And so it was a verbal standoff. It was led by a particular sheriff. Um, we stood to enforce our constitutional protected right of privacy and civilian due process. And it was an unconstitutional police home invasion.
Mhm.
Since that home invasion, if you want me to go further,
Yes, please.
um,
Before you do that, let me do this because I know my listening base and they have certain questions, and we have other people here as well on a part of the family. We all gonna ask
absolutely,
you some questions if that's okay as well.
absolutely,
But up until on October the 3rd, when all this took place on October the 3rd, correct?
yes, it
Okay,
started October
it
3rd.
started October. What is it that led them to? Or do you know what led them to come into your home?
So I can believe a whole lot of things. First of all, my daughter is, a rights activist, a human
Hmm.
rights activist. And as you know, anyone who, fights for their rights, you become a target sometimes
Yes.
for people who are doing the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And those individuals they can be in law enforcement, they can be in politics, they can be anywhere,
Yes,
that
absolutely.
don't want you
Absolutely.
to fight for your rights.
Mhm.
My daughter has had zero criminal record, an
Mm,
11-year herbalist healing
mhm,
people around the world, but helping people fight for their rights when they've been falsely accused and
mhm,
false narratives that are out there, different things. She's been helping individuals understand what their rights are and how to fight for their rights the right way, you
mhm.
know. And so she did speak at Juneteenth on last year
Okay.
in 2022, in front of thousands and thousands of people. She's helped people, like I said, all over the world, make sure that they understand their constitutional rights and they don't just,
Mhm,
lay down and allow people to falsely accuse them and false imprison them. You know, it's a passion of hers.
mhm. Yes, that's good. That's good. And do you think some of that, her being as outspoken as she is, was a contributing factor toward them coming to your house and doing the things that they're doing and falsely invading your home?
Well, I believe, actually, I believe that it could be due to that in part. I
Mm,
believe that based on what we know is that an ex police officer
mhm.
that basically made a statement to Gwinnett County. They went basically on that statement
Wow.
and they came to our house looking for someone that we told them was not there. We had
Wow.
no idea who they were. When they approached me, I had no idea what they were talking about, and
Mhm,
and so that's what started it. Their whole brotherhood of someone can come make a statement and you just believe it and you don't give us due process and you come
hearsay.
to our home. I mean,
Mhm.
that means I can say that about anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody, Raheem, you've got
Yeah.
my money or you've got
Yeah.
my child at your home, and
Mhm.
then people just swarm without any due process, you know
Based
and
solely on hearsay.
yeah, on hearsay. And they will tell
Mhm,
you we can go by hearsay. So you can go by hearsay from a criminal, from an ex-police officer who clearly made national news for thinking he cut off his all of the cams. He cut off his body cam but not his car
mhm,
cam, and
mhm,
it was international news of him beating a black man. And so you can just take what he says and just come to our peaceful domicile
mhm.
and raid our home. And so my daughter, and that's all on video as well, my daughter made
Wow.
some statements about her rights, about our rights,
Mhm,
and everything is public on that video. We've made that video public. And so we believe that after October 3rd, because of that incident and because of things that we said and because of the rights that we asserted, we didn't just go, okay, like most people do, okay, we'll do whatever you want, we'll let you bully us and we'll just do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
No, absolutely not. We're tired of our people being killed and
Mhm,
falsely imprisoned for decades, like in Dothan, Alabama, where they just found out that over 1,000 Black men were falsely accused and falsely imprisoned, false
mhm,
narratives by cops, by those policy enforcers that took
mhm.
an oath to the Constitution and don't even really know what it says.
Wow. Wow. And see, my whole thing with what you're saying right now and where I am with it is, first of all, it's hearsay. And
Absolutely.
when they came to your home and requested, and I'm loosely using the term requested, that they search your home. First, they would have had to have a search warrant. Did they not have that?
They had some paperwork that they would not show us.
Wow.
We have that on
Good spot.
video. The part that they did show us, they had
Mhm.
anybody can put a stack of paperwork
Yeah.
on a clipboard, you
Mhm.
know, and we're telling them we don't know this man, we don't know
Mhm.
this person that you're looking for. And then what the part that my daughter was able to get a video of, it wasn't even signed.
Wow.
So if they had that information, they did not show us. And
Mhm.
surely, due process of law is
Yes.
law. You
Mhm.
know, and some people say, well, you should have just let them in. They don't know what we went through with 15 to 20 sheriffs at our
Mhm.
home, at our domicile, our peaceful residence, our private residence.
And see, my issue with you should have just let them in is, where does it stop?
Where does it stop?
Yeah, where does it stop?
This is martial law that they're allowing. You just come and
Mhm.
kick our door in and you just do what you want to do. Absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah. So what happened next? What happened next?
Since that home invasion, where they found nothing, by the way, they and my daughter did say some things on camera to them that I'm sure led to this retaliation that happened on October 26th. But when they left, they all left with their tails tucked, and they did come in our house, our domicile, with their guns drawn in our attics, in our ovens, in the trunk of our car. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I assure you that has not happened to individuals that
Sis,
don't
hold one second for me, please. You said
Yes.
they came into your house with the guns drawn.
They
They
had
had the guns
guns
out already.
drawn. Guns drawn.
See, I didn't
Yeah,
want
but
people
we
to miss
have
that
it on
part.
video. There's
Yeah. Wow. I
guns
did.
drawn. They made us stay outside of our home as if we were. The whole thing just gives me anxiety. I will kid you not. It is. We have not even
It's
been
enough
able to
to.
sleep peacefully because of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and we
Absolutely.
had my younger daughter, her friend, and a 1-year-old here.
Mm.
That it is still traumatizing them. I mean, every time they see a policy enforcer, they're like, "Oh, mom, I feel like that." It's
Mhm.
not good.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I apologize. I get so
Yeah, you're fine. You're
well, I
fine.
cannot
Yeah.
apologize.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, it's not a good situation, and
No.
that many thousands go through,
Mhm.
millions probably that we don't know.
And
I
first of
got a question.
hold on one second. Hold on one second. I'm good to go to everybody. Let everybody ask. So I know everybody. Yeah, I know everybody have questions to ask on this, and so I'm so appreciative of the fact that she said she will allow everybody to ask questions. But my thing is this: first of all, they were not supposed to be there. That's the first part. They were not supposed to be there. Not only did they invade your house without a search warrant, they came into your home with you and other people that and the children with their guns drawn.
Mhm.
Anything could have gone bad in that situation. Anything just at the drop of a dime could have gone bad in that situation. That's an ugly situation. Rico, I heard you, brother. What's on your heart?
Yeah, because I'm trying to get to where I can relate a little bit more of to why they would come there to their home specifically. And so I heard her say that she was an herbalist, and how she had a platform, and then I hear the talking about the people being wrongfully incarcerated. So I'm wondering if she's really saying that she feels like they were targeted and used that search for that other person as a ruse because they feel some type of way about what she's talking about as an activist, because they may be receiving this as digs at the judicial system or judicial form. Sometimes you can't have too much of an impact as an herbalist, like on Debbie level. So, I mean, what I'm trying to find out is she's saying that she feels like they were targeted and just before then, because if they were, I'm trying to, understand just how deep her daughter is into this activism. Because I
And one of
understand
the
how
things
people can be targeted. We understand about how COINTELPRO works.
exactly.
Does she think it's this serious? Is it one of those situations where they just came now under the guise of that what they claim they came under?
And two and don't hold on one second, sis. And don't miss the part where she said she spoke out. There was a big and she spoke in front of thousands of people, and that may have also shined a light on her on top of the activism, on top of the herbalism. So it's a lot of things that could have played a part in that. But go ahead, sis.
She's an herbalist, and what I mean by she's healed people around the world, with all of God's natural herbs. She ships, her product around the world to help heal people from many diseases and sicknesses, and so, or to enable the healing process, I should say.
Yes.
And so she does have a platform. She does have a platform where she speaks out, but she speaks out in a way to where people can do their research. It convicts them to want to know more and want to do better. Okay. And so I do believe, as a parent, I'm speaking as a parent, I believe that all of the things that she has been doing, whether it be Juneteenth, whether it be speaking at that event, whether it be all of the different advocacy and supporting families who need help with fighting for their rights
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes could have contributed to that. COINTEL is real. We've had plenty of incidents
So,
with that in over the last year. Okay, so yes, it is real, and that led us not even 23 days later on October 26th to this. Uh, that with that target on her back led to that non-emergency traffic stop that she had on October 26th of 2022,
mm-hmm.
where Suwannee police agent claimed they pulled her over for a hands-free violation that left her defending for her life. And what happened is, and I'm going to go high level with the press release here. What happened is she was defending for her life after they pulled her over for a hands-free violation, which she was not on her phone. And we have proof from our phone company of that. She was literally just coming from surgery, mouth surgery, not even 2 miles, 3 miles, maybe tops from our domicile. And that individual pulled her over. And the next thing you know, my daughter did ask for the captain. The captain came over and he used the barrel of a knife, open knife, to bash her. He said, "I'm going to take you in," and begin to bash on her windshield.
Wow.
She had 3 witnesses that were on video. She had videotaped the entire incident on 2 devices, and they deleted one of the videos. We believe that from the 3 witnesses account, but there's still a part of it that's still there. But I will tell you, after the attempting to bash, shortly after that, they rammed her automobile, leaving it completely destroyed. They never rendered medical attention for her. She went straight to that sheriff's detention center where she spent 28 days.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Now you say they rammed her vehicle. Was she
Yes,
still in the Was she still in the vehicle?
she was still in the vehicle.
Wow.
She was still in the automobile.
Wow.
Yeah. They held her at gunpoint. We're talking about a simple traffic stop that happens to many of our people.
Citizens. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And being a private citizen, this happened to her. And when I tell you, there's so much. If you get the press release that I've shared with you, sir, you will have all of the details of some of the things that I'm not speaking right now, but
Yeah.
that have names. It is all public record right now. But for a myriad of reasons, I'm neglecting to say those things. But I will say this: there's no reason for a simple traffic stop.
Yes. To elevate
Go
to
the
that
way
level.
it did.
Exactly.
And then you throw 14 accusatory charges that were brought by Suwannee. They literally said, just drop the charges, create the narrative, and we'll get the warrants. It's an intent to put our
Wow.
people false narratives and you would think my daughter is somebody who's, you'd think the way they did this whole narrative and made it seem like she was just completely like a criminal, like someone
Yeah.
who murdered, robbed, running, all of that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
that's what they did in Dothan, Alabama. If
Mm.
you check out your news, that's
Yeah.
what they did. And it took 2 decades for someone to finally listen. And they listened to white cops that saw things were happening with the colleagues, the other white cops.
Yeah.
I have nothing against white people. Let me just say that I'm pro-Black all the way, but I'm not anti-white. But I know what this is. This is real. It's not just being an activist. It's because one of the witnesses was pulled over for something similar to one of the tickets that my daughter was pulled over for. And guess what they did in Gwinnett County, in this county, that I know the DA knows about? They towed her car to her home.
Wow.
They didn't bash her windshield in, call in 50 policy enforcers, take her to jail. Is she a rights activist? No. But it's the same thing. You towed
Exactly.
her home. You know, because of one of the tickets that, like what my daughter had, one of the accusations, like what my daughter had. And our whole life is uprooted now. We watch people, we think people are following us. We've got so many co-intel that's come in. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And you need to pay for what you've done. The DA should have had those charges dropped. They should have investigated why there's so many. When I tell you, when this is investigated the way it should be, they will see everything that was done wrong, and those charges should have been dropped. They actually did some things, and it's in the press release. You know, they did some things. They dropped it, then they reopened it when we filed our federal lawsuit. So, you know, there's a lot behind that, around that, that when you start to doing your research, you'll see.
Now, how's her spirits right now?
You know what? You know, I'm going to say this, and I pray that it doesn't sound selfish, but many of you as a parent, before I answer that question, as a parent, know, you know, we take on what's happening with our young people, and we know when our young people are good or bad. We know if anybody knows, the parent knows. My daughter is an amazing woman.
Good.
And her spirits are connected with God. Her spirit is connected with God. She's like, she's quoting her scriptures. She's saying her psalms. She's bold and strong, and she's standing strong on what she believes in. Me, on the other hand, you know, I'm standing strong on what I believe in, but I'm ticked off, and I'm a minister. I'm ticked off. And I do believe, and I know that justice, God is a just God, and he's going to take care of this. And those people should not be able to sleep, eat. They should not be settled until they tell the truth about this. And many of our young people that they falsely imprisoned, false narratives, you know, we're looked at as the enemy. And you need to know that depending on their bad day, that bully who has power, too much power, that we are not doing a great job of policing the police. I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm saying there's a large percentage of them are bad.
There's an element there. Yeah.
There's an element there. And so me as a parent right now, that I see that element, and I'm thinking if they have a bad day and I'm just, you know, being Miss Hollywood and I'm showing up and you're having a bad day, if I say boo, you're going to take me in and create this narrative because, you know, because of whatever. So she knows her rights. She knows her constitutional rights. She knows her human rights, and she's going to stand on that till the end. And at the end of the day, federal court has to deal with that. They have to deal with it. And I'm going to continue as a parent to get this story out.
Absolutely. And I want to go around because I know everybody's been listening. I definitely appreciate each and every one of you all's patience. And the phone lines are open as well. So if anybody want to call in and be a part of the conversation, you could definitely give us a call. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Ryan, what's on your heart, brother? You got a question?
No, I really don't. I mean, it's a pretty point blank. I'm still kind of befuddled on all the reasoning, right? Like I'm still in the dark as to why they would pull her over, why they would roll up to the house, guns drawn. Were they guns drawn on you, or were you guys removed from the home and then they went in with the guns out because they were looking for somebody? Like there's all kinds of things, you know, and I'm not trying to get you to reveal anything that you're not supposed to talk about. I just have, that's my main, I'm still wrapping my mind around why.
So they went in, and I appreciate that question. They had no guns drawn on us outside the home, outside the domicile. They did not. Those guns we have, they were drawn inside our domicile with my other daughter, like I mentioned, and her friend and the baby. The guns were drawn in their presence.
Wow.
If they're looking for a child, hear me clearly. If they're looking for a child and your guns are drawn for what? That's what they said they were looking for. So what's the reasoning behind your guns being drawn if you're looking for a child?
Wait a minute. Let's back up. Now, the person that they were searching for was how old?
I don't recall the age of the
Okay.
child.
Okay. Wow. But it was a child. It was not an
Yeah,
adult.
no.
Wow.
So there's no reason,
Mm.
outside of, like you said, there's a lot of spotlight placed on, rights activists. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of spotlight placed on them. There has been for years, many,
Yes.
many, many, many
Absolutely.
years, decades.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I don't even know what they could have potentially done while they were in our domicile. They wouldn't allow us in,
Mm-hmm.
allow me and my daughter in.
Wow. Wow.
So I don't know. You
Mm-hmm.
hear stories all the time. I cannot accuse them of placing anything anywhere. But when you
Mm-hmm.
think of COINTEL and you think of reasons why people, you can put the pieces of the puzzle together. I'm uncomfortable about what I even say in my own home, my own domicile,
Wow.
because I just don't know. I do
Wow.
not know.
Mhm.
My
Yeah,
daughter's not a criminal, but she's a rights activist. Must understand, she's going to hold people accountable.
Exactly. Exactly. And let me go, and we're gonna go around and we'll touch on everybody. But right now I want to go to Toya. Toya, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, y'all. How you doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. You listening to the story, Toya? Do you have a question or a concern about the story itself, or where are you right now? Because to do something like this, and
I
you're
mean, I
looking
don't
for a
know.
child, man. That's
I feel like I missed something. I feel like I missed something. All this happened due to what? I heard they were looking for a child. To me, the things that ring the most is that she said she's a herbalist.
mm-hmm,
That right there lets me know the truth. But how we got to the police thing, I feel like I missed that. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to respond.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But
What's your
what I think
definition of
I
an
wanted
herbalist? I'm
off of,
sorry.
just off of what was explained,
She didn't hear your
it
question.
sounded like this was all illegal. This is something they do to us, right?
Mm-hmm,
This is something that they always do. They've always have had illegal practices when it comes to handling us black people, because as we know, when they created the Constitution and the law and the barriers and all that, technically it wasn't for everybody. It was kind of just for us. We've talked about the history on how we got there. So it sounds like not only something that they do to us all the time, but it seems like now they're doing it because what makes her a threat is being the herbalist.
mm-hmm. And Toya, she asked the question.
Being,
She had asked you a question, Toya.
right.
What is your? I'm coming to you. Hold on, brother. You know how we do this. Hold on. She asked the question. What is your definition of an herbalist?
Because she does follow Dr. Sabi. So yes.
there we
To-
go. So
Mhm.
that's an herbalist. That's a holistic uh, educator. A
Yes.
person who can, only reason why I know this because, I've been shadow banned, all that. I'm with all that. A person who can help take down America is a person who knows how to handle themselves with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're fighting so hard to keep certain information away. And if this young lady knows how to do that, we already know what happens to multiple doctors
She
and
affect.
multiple people who study medicine to help and to help heal you. So again, if they are giving orders, see, this is where it gets tricky. This is where we go up under spells, because you become a cop, a spell, and they give you orders. You have conversations in these back rooms, and in Gwinnett, they still backwoods. We want to act like it's not, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still Gwinnett County. In the backwoods, they have these conversations about us, and that's the last thing they want us to do. Some of these systems were created for us. So to have a woman who is now, going around the world healing people or teaching people, what we need, that is the contrary to the system over here,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the why. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, I can only assume that from what I just heard. I don't know the root to the story because I missed that part. But once I heard her say she goes around and she heals people, I already know that. That's the problem. We already know that. We
That's
talked about
affecting their
Dr.
bottom
Sebi,
line.
and there's a
Mm-hmm.
multitude of others. I don't care what they say,
Mm-hmm.
as well as, with me. I have intimate talks with God about healing, about who He is. And 9 times out of 10, persecution comes for those of us that want to stand on that. But at the end of the day, Mama, I need you to know God got some warriors. We got David and rocks, and let's go get these giants, baby. Because the things that she possessed, the knowledge that she possessed, not only unlocks healing, which is going to make us crumble because we thrive off of sickness and things like that, but It's going to teach us. It's going to unlock other doors that is going to unleash this spell. So she is a threat to every system in America, and this is why they so-called take people out with that kind of power. So unless I can hear more of the story and say, oh yeah, well, it was because she was smoking weed, you know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, you know, and then I heard a kid come in to play, like they're coming to look for a kid, like that really threw me off.
Yeah.
So again, once I heard her say her daughter's an herbalist, we already know what makes her the enemy to anyone on the American system, especially in the illusion. I'm not talking about the people who we brought into what America is, and we signed up to be mayors and governors and officers because we thought it was true. We're talking about the ones who are cool with the slavery America.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Who's
Absolutely.
cool with the cut a baby out your stomach because you're a different color. You know, the one who feel like just because you got Down syndrome, you know, you need to be murdered or sacrificed. Like we talking about that group of people. That makes no sense and is not of God. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You're a threat. She's a threat to that group of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, let me give the phone number. A couple of people that asked for the phone number is 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Call in and ask your questions. My sister, she definitely can answer the question. Yes, ma'am.
May I add something really quickly before we move on to make sure I don't forget to give this info?
Yes.
Yes. First of all, sister, thank you so much for that. And that is real. So you're absolutely right. We know by Dr. Sabi's life and the end of his life. What they said is not what it was. I believe that wholeheartedly as a parent. I will say this, and this is on the press release, but I want to say these things. Was there a motive of the city, county, and state police agents behind such a minor traffic stop? It seems so when Miss Bay let us know that while she was held in Gwinnett County Sheriff's Jail with severe injuries from the crash from the acting sheriff when he greeted her with a grin of victory inside the jail, Miss Bay stated she knew that her stay in jail would not be a pleasant one because she tells us she was denied medical attention. We know that on the 911 call that we pulled from that day, it shows that they said we got this. If you totaled a small BMW i3 electric car that was tiny and you rammed it with the Hellcat cars that had the big grill on the front, you rammed it and you had to bash her windshield, drag her across glass, dislocate her, major injuries. Okay, you did not take her to get medical attention until her mother, had to stay there night after night, calling, emailing, going to visit internal affairs there. And you can do your own research of who that individual is to get them. And I'm like, this is on your head. If something happens to my daughter, you all are supposed to take her to get medical treatment. You did not. It wasn't a pleasant one. They denied her medical attention. They starved her for a couple of days in that holding cell because they wanted to label her as a sovereign citizen. She is not a sovereign citizen. Okay. They humiliated her by strapping her to a chair, forcing her to nearly overdose on medication that she kept saying she did not want to do, forcing her to do things against her will to make contact with us. She had to do things against her will in order for her to make contact with us. She's got a 72-year-old grandma and she's got a 54-year-old mom that's like, look, this is what's happening. We don't even know what happened outside of what the witnesses told us or where she's at. And so they made her do things against her will in order for her to be able to contact us. She's in that cold cell, nothing, nose bleeding. She's bleeding out on the first couple of days in that cell, in that holding place, people coming over her. And these are people that were from October 3rd, by the way, that were not at the October 26th minor traffic stop. Some of these individuals, these policy enforcers that were there on October 3rd were coming to her holding cell going, sovereign citizen, doing things, saying things.
Wow.
And that's how you can, if you can put pieces of the puzzle together on your own, how do you make this right? How then she's a well-respected rights activist and herbalist for over, I said 11 years. I keep counting, but she's 9 years. She also stated in an interview, they forced her to sign a bond to get her freedom, only if she would agree to that 24-hour ankle monitoring where she sat for 230 days with no conviction or grand jury indictment simply because she was fighting for her rights as she was falsely labeled and defamed a flight risk as a sovereign citizen, which she is not,
Wow.
and that she's a danger to the community. That happens to so many of our people that just say, get a lawyer. They tell you, go get a lawyer, go do this. And that's not, our people have to come together. And we have to shout our indifferences. We have to begin to speak out about, what's happening, and not be afraid. If we stand together, think about the people in Canada who are doing not that I, tell people to do this, but what they're doing is they're standing together, and they're doing a rent. What do you call it? There's like hundreds of them that are not paying their rent in this, I believe it's an apartment in Canada. But it's because of a lot of things that have happened, sewage and all kinds of problems. They finally said enough is enough, and they stood together. Why can't we stand together, and fight for what's right? We also had character witness statements that were sent in for that hearing. And it shows that my daughter is nothing but a neighborhood hero. She's nothing short of a neighborhood hero.
Exactly.
Hero.
Exactly. Shiro, absolutely. Absolutely. Good deal. And we got a couple of people. I want to touch a few more people because we have quite a few people here that I'm sure have questions for you. Let me go to Curtis, and then we're going to go to Ibrahim. We're going to circle our way back around. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Curtis, are you there? Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I'm here. I really don't have a question. I have a statement.
Okay.
She is absolutely right, man. Yo, we got to stand up for each other, man. Like, real talk. That whole story, we lived that experience here about, I want to say almost a year ago. If you remember, my nephew got shot, woke up in bed at the hospital handcuffed. And we found out it was all behind, he had got pulled over in the county in the way the police was talking to him and treating him. He recorded it, and he put it on YouTube, got over 200,000 views. Months go by, he gets shot, and all of a sudden they treating him like he's like the biggest criminal on the planet. He got shot. They went as far as to send him down and put him on general population, man. The boy couldn't even walk. With a walker, he couldn't walk. They had to remove like a piece of his spleen or something, man. But it was just a mess, bro. And hearing her speak, man, I mean, somebody down there, man, y'all got to reach out. You know what name went through my mind, Ryan?
What was that?
Ruby Freeman, man. Ruby, man. Because these people think that they can. Ruby Freeman, Annie Merle McNeil, my grandmother, hearing her story took me all the way back to way before I was born. When he came to my granddaddy's house because they was trying to make him sign his name on the deed entitled to his land to take his land, man. Wow. These raiders show up to your house. That's all that is, man. That is the Klan. They just ain't wearing hoods. They wearing badges, uniforms.
And their brotherhood flags.
Yeah, and his brother, oh yeah. We got some Dave Pells in there. We got some Stevens in there. But when you realistically think about it, when you talk about police reform, right? Like, if a cat gave me the opportunity to be the mayor or the president overnight, boom, like that. When you talk about police reform, real police reform, it could be simple. You know what? You need to send these dudes need to be in training for at least 2 years, bro. There's no way in the world you can learn the up, down, inside, outside, right side, left side of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
That's right.
No world you can do that in 8 weeks, bro.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No way in the world. These guys is operating off of. I'm just gonna be honest, man. These guys, in my opinion, is operating off of what we want to be the law,
Right.
what we say is the law,
Right. What we've seen as
and their qualified immunity. The union is protecting and serving.
Mhm.
And we all know, and I'm a union guy, we all know when you ask a union to protect and serve, who is the first person they're going to protect and serve?
Their own. Absolutely.
They own.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, the phone, we got a few other people to call in, but the phone lines are open 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Ibrahim, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, as you might know, or some people know, I'm an activist. I've been an activist majority part of my life since I was 9 years old. I was forced into it by my mom. But let me tell you something. This is not uncommon. And we're seeing a lot more of it because a lot of us don't realize the actual reality. A lot of things attached to it. It's plain and simple, right? Identify you by the color of your skin. They don't care if you're rich, wealthy, educated, homosexual, transgender, whatever. They don't care. They see a color and they assign things to it, and negative things. And so being an activist, I have seen some things that are way hard in Atlanta and in Georgia. Not in my lifetime, but in the last, since the 20th century came into being. I know one lady's son that was shot 72 times, unarmed. They had a gun, and they said that he tried to do something, and most of the bullets was directly in the floor on top of him after he had died, hit the floor, and bled to death, right? So now I've been working with Mateo Robinson, that's name to remember. And there's mothers with Mothers Against Police Violence. But like the last brother was talking about, if you want to change anything about police, simply remove the union, the policemen's union. They have people in Washington D.C. and Georgia State protesting laws. They like we should do. They pay politicians. They pass the law, and even the esteemed civil rights actor even enforced and put the 2019 Respect and Serve Act. Now I was with Cedric Alexander and Vivian. Dr. Vivian, before he passed away, and others, and a bunch of screaming lunatics for Black Lives Matter, talking about the 21st century policing. That was the best thing I've seen in my lifetime as far as dealing with the police force. And that was mostly dedicated to community policing. But they always circumvent that. They try to always put themselves in a mission. Now they're trying to build this police thing out there. But I'm gonna say one thing: be active. Straight. I always tell a lot of people, like a lady's son was shot and killed, and his best friend was put for the murder, felony homicide, because this white boy said that they tried to rob him. That's all he said. 15 minutes later, he was released, and then everybody, that was down in Savannah. I went down to Savannah. I was also down there in Brunswick, Georgia, you know, with the different militant groups and stuff like that, presenting guns and marching the neighborhood, and a lot of other cases. But what I'm trying to say to you is, first thing to do is hone your conversation. Go back, listen to what you're saying, and some things you got to let go, and some things you emphasize on, right? And then join with other people in groups. Before your daughter's issue, don't let her forget that, because kids and people, after a while, they get tired because nothing happens. Stay away from all the hollering, screaming, and praying, and people that will pray and then work to get things done. Stop bringing mysticism into it. Be direct, clear, and literal of what exactly happened, right? And don't never apologize to anyone or yourself for any action your daughter did, whatever it is. It don't make no difference. If she had a gun in her hand and she was standing out there, right? Laid the gun down, like guy just recently. He threw his hands up, they set a dog on, shooting in. They had to force to remove this dog teeth from this man's.
Wow.
Wait, you know, I don't care how reason there is. Don't even try to apologize and minimize it because he might have done this like Carlton. Don't do that. When you do that, you hadn't had the moment yet. You hadn't had. I call. Well, I'm gonna use polite words. The Negro moment. And when you have the Negro moment, when it happens to you, you become different. But I've been acting about.
Trying to get in here before the end.
Curtis, mute your line, Curtis.
My bad.
Go ahead, Ibrahim.
Well, Curtis, want to say? Go ahead.
No. He was talking to somebody else.
Okay, but what I want to say is though, you know, to join up. See, when you have a need and people have some familiar right that they can work in together, then that's when you get unity. You cannot force people, because I heard the different conversations over here. Everybody has their own idea, but united, if you have an issue, it's somebody's similar issue. Somebody's been working on this for a long time. Get with them, express your issue, let them hone you up, find the lawyers that deal with your case, NAACP, the other movements, NAN, all these different groups, right? Until somebody takes up your case and moves forward. That's the only way we get things recognized. Some of these cases you would have never heard about in the last 10 years. And some cases get more attention than others. But don't never apologize for the actions of whoever it was if they've been victimized and tortured and killed, because that's not in the Constitution.
Good
right?
deal.
And the Constitution is stated for us all. And as long as we understand that the Constitution affects all, the law is supposed to be equal. So that, and the law is alive and it moves, right? So don't ever lay down that it's supposed to be like this. The law is live, and you got the right ability to change laws. If you get, squeaky wheel get the grease, right? So that's what I'm going to say, right? Don't never let the anger of your ancestors forward you to get a change. Understand what you want change. That's another thing. We used to protest. We knew.
I'm at the mute him because preacher ain't gonna stop. Preacher ain't gonna stop. He gonna keep going. But hold on, preacher. We gotta move on. We gotta keep it moving. Go ahead, sis.
I so appreciate with what he has spoken. And I will say this in clarity. When I apologized earlier and then pulled back my apology, it was because I began to show emotion. And so I said I apologize because that's something that's been just ingrained in our culture to apologize for our emotion, for whatever that emotion is. And then I said, no, I do not apologize for that. I clearly do not apologize for anything that my daughter has done thus far, because she is fighting for her rights. She had inhumane treatment by these sheriffs. They yanked bald spots out of my child's head. As a mom, that just kills me daily. Her religious wear was destroyed, Mr. Ibrahim. Her arm was dislocated. The MRI record proved that she had severe spinal injuries from this. And so I do not apologize for how she is doing this. Now, he is so correct that this unnecessary excessive force that they do to individuals, that brings me in fear every day. Fear, I would say concern, not fear, but in concern. I'm concerned. Okay. My daughter has zero fear. Zero. She is directly connected to Allah. And I will close with this because I didn't mention it earlier, if I may, Mr. Rahim, because I don't know how much time we have.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay. I can't close with it, but I want to make sure I speak this statement as well. After her release, she stated she filed, as I mentioned earlier, she filed a federal lawsuit consisting of a 30-plus page claim of injuries against Gwinnett County government, Gwinnett County DA, Assistant DA, Clerk of State, Swanee, AA Professional Bail Bond Company, and over 20 sheriffs, police, and acting judges, which led to further retaliation of the county clerk and the DA and superior judge, who signed off on a bench warrant to team up with the county authorities in this alleged conspired attempt to abduct my daughter, who is a native Georgian woman, and put her back behind bars. She stated that I survived the story of the late Sandra Bland, Michael Ford, and other victims of police brutality, but I don't think I will for long if this doesn't end with the remedy of justice for my injuries, because these people will not stop because they think they are God. After we reviewed the record, we noticed that acting clerk has concealed records and reports, denied constitutional protected rights, such as the right of a writ of habeas corpus and the freedom of speech of press, by refusing to file the people's affidavits and important defense documents, then used her limited authority to retaliate against the inhabitants for seeking justice for their injuries. Because if it's not on a certain form, it's not written a certain kind of way, it's not a certain type of font that doesn't say this at the front, they deny. Their only job in that recorder's court is to receive your documents. That's their job. It is your right, your freedom of speech, your freedom of press. And a lot of us don't know that. And we don't go back and pull Supreme Court cases, which are the supreme law of the land. We don't go back and pull those things as we should. We should do those things and go. And one of the individuals said, we're Gwinnett County. We don't follow federal law. We don't follow their rules. The last I checked, that was the supreme law of the land. I'm
It's,
trying
it's
to
supposed to
understand,
be.
like, how does that work?
It's supposed to be. Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, it's a lot. It's a lot. We actually going to conclude this part of the broadcast, but man, we're gonna get you back on here again. And I want you to keep us up to speed as to what's going on. We got a couple other people that I want to go to before we conclude this. Rico,
Raheem,
yes,
Right here.
can
yes,
you just make sure she gets info? Because I would love to do a full video documentary about this whole type thing.
Mhm.
So if you could give her
Absolutely,
my info or give
absolutely,
me her info or
Mhm.
whatever.
Absolutely, absolutely. Curtis,
Thank you.
yes, Curtis,
Hey, right here.
yes.
Yeah. You know what just dawned on me
What's
hearing the brother Ibrahim talk and hearing everybody talk and hearing that story. You
what's
know
that?
what just dawned on me?
What's
Let
that?
me tell you how hard hypocrisy actually is, right? Okay, so you guys are in a state, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you got nurses, you got textile mills, you got all these different employers and entities where these folks really could use a union. And the voting bloc and the leadership, those who have been appointed, will vote against allowing for those people to unionize, but all at the same time won't say nothing to the police department for unionizing.
Mm.
I'm trying to figure it out. If you voting against everybody else to unionize,
Yeah.
but you voting for one particular segment to unionize, are you for unions or are you against unions?
Mm.
And is that not hypocrisy?
It is.
Follow the money.
Wow.
You
Absolutely.
can have a union for us because that union for us protects us. But no, we're not gonna give no protection to all y'all other folks, all
Mm-hmm.
y'all other background and white po folk. No, y'all don't get that protection. You don't get that protection until you decide to play ball. I'm so sick of American hypocrisy. I swear, man, if I didn't have a 17-year-old kid moving through this world, man, I'd move.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dead honest, dead to right. I was moved, bro.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy.
Exactly. We're gonna go. We're gonna touch a few more people. We got a few people that we actually hadn't touched yet. Let me go right now to Rico. We're gonna go to Navy. Then we're gonna go to Cassandra. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
Man, this just goes to show that we don't really pay attention to things like this that happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as individuals, as a community, as a society, these type of things should be a priority.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, when is enough enough?
Exactly.
I'm starting to realize that enough isn't enough, because as we speak about organizations that try to bring awareness to this, I'm protecting people that are bringing awareness to this. They're not getting the the attention that they need, so they're going through these things. And we understand that. Listen, this has been going on long enough to where people have been killed over this type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Her daughter heals people around the world.
Yes.
That means she is doing something that counters the system and the institution that we choose to be a part of. So to be honest with you, we don't realize enough is enough until the shit hit the fan.
Hey. Mm-hmm. Go
When
on.
it becomes personal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the only time we realize enough is enough. But by that time, it's too late.
It's too late.
And it's so late is because we aren't caught into the right reality. Our reality isn't focused on our priorities.
Mm-hmm.
We are caught under the illusion of the American dream. All the systems and institutions in place that when you go against those systems and institutions and you become aware and you start waking up and you stop doing pharmaceutical drugs, you stop eating processed foods,
Mm-hmm.
you start understanding that the judicial system is always has using somebody to abuse their authority. All these systems and institutions, every piece of our existence that we want to be a part of in this American dream, when you get it to reality and you wake up, you start making people aware of the fact that they're caught under the illusion, they're under the spell.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody abuses their authority in it.
Exactly. Go ahead.
Not just in unions, not just in the police department, judges, CEOs, politicians. Once you get in any place of power that controls these things that we want to be successful in this illusion of the American dream, they even abuse the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
They give people bias. They give people privilege. They give people entitlement. And they also go around the world and sabotage governments, and they kill Gaddafi, and they cause war on drugs, and they destroy families and take men out the household. And every turn you make in this reality that we live in, you don't understand just what the reality is until the stuff hit the fan.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's when you say enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
We got to unify, and we got to make these things a priority. You know, this doesn't just need to be a conversation that was sung after it's over with. It's over with.
It needs to be a call to action. It really needs to be a call to action, and that's really what has to happen. There's a lot of stuff that we can actually continue to talk about on this particular topic right here. We could do a whole week, every day, or more on this particular topic. Let me go to Navy. Navy, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm good. How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, doing good. Since I know you've been listening in for a minute, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real quick because my first patient is here. But to Mama that came to be a sounding board and a voice for her baby and other babies that unfortunately are not here to still tell their stories. Thank you.
Yes.
Because Sandra Bland didn't get that chance.
Mm-hmm.
Others that came before her and after her didn't get that chance. I can't echo or say anything else that hasn't already been said, so I'll just say ditto to everything that everyone else has already said, that this conversation is important. So it irks me whenever people are like, oh, you always want to make it about race. Everything is about race. But whenever you have situations like this that are still taking place, then yeah, we still have to have those conversations. There still has to be a call to action. There still has to be accountability. And until those things are in place, then we will not rest.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope y'all have a beautiful Monday.
Likewise.
Mama, thank you again. And hopefully I'll catch y'all again sometime this week.
Good deal. Looking forward to it, sis. Thank you for calling in. Definitely appreciate
All
you.
right.
Let me go to Cassandra.
Yes, sir.
Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, I don't know how much of the broadcast you heard. Did you hear the story that was actually told and everything that was laid out, or did you just come in?
Yeah, no, I've heard quite a bit of it. I mean, but nothing that this mother said surprised me.
Wow.
I actually just was reached out by Jalen Walker, who was the kid that was shot at 96 times. I think he was hit over 46 times in Ohio. I actually went up there and marched with his family, his mother, who's a beautiful woman. And I went with Mothers Against Police Brutality out of Atlanta. Well, they're from around the country, and we all met up in Ohio because, of course, you guys know that my nephew was killed by police in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yes.
He was living with, it's been just 2 years. He's been living with schizophrenia and was absolutely killed for no reason. And then we had to watch it actually on the video. We got the opportunity to watch what was done to him. And I'm still trying to recover from that. So there is a fight. Kathy Lights, whose son was killed in South Georgia by a state patrol officer, and he was just heading to work, had done a turnaround in a parking lot and got stopped and ended up dying. These stories are not new. Thank God. I'm not sure the mother's name, but thank God your daughter was not killed. I mean, it could have gone that way, the way that several of us have experienced losing family members because of police brutality and them not following procedure. And then when you bring it to their attention, they flip it on the victim. How do you flip on a victim that is mentally ill? How do you flip on a victim that was just on his way to work, doing what he did every day, but had to do a turnaround in a parking lot that you felt like he shouldn't have been in, which is Kathy Light's son's story? I mean, I can listen. When you sit with these families and you hear their stories, I don't care if it was last week or several years ago. I mean, I'm an activist. I have been for close to 40 years. I stand for what I stand on. My passion, a lot of times people say, was she just an angry Black woman? No. I'm standing against something.
Yes. Absolutely.
I'm not just angry for no reason. If you want to call me an angry woman, tell the reason why I'm an angry Black woman. What has happened to me? What has happened to my community? What has happened? I mean, don't just label people. And if it's not happening to your group of people, disproportionately, it is Black people. We only, 13, 14, whatever they say, percent of the population, but yet we have the highest amount of police brutality, deaths. Come on now. I'm just saying. Just saying. So I totally I see what she has gone through. I went through an incident with Suwannee police when my daughter was living out there and I was staying with her. I know how they profile people. I'm telling you, I ain't asking nobody. I'm that person.
Wow.
So I don't, we got to continue to fight. That's all I want to say.
Exactly.
And I'm going to do it the way marching does help. Believe it or not, several things have taken place through marches being done around this country. Ahmaud Arbery, his mother is wonderful. I've met her, and man, listen to the stories, and then tell me that these people are just doing it, to be doing something.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Let me do this.
Daily march, y'all.
Let me
meet up in Gwinnett County.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it. Let me do this. I see you right there. We got one more call. I want to go to that caller real quickly, and then I'm gonna come right back to you. Badger, what's on your heart, brother? Good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I didn't get to catch all of them. Hello got me this morning.
Okay. What's on your heart?
So, police brutality again, right?
Yes. A part of
man. Huh?
Go ahead.
We got to figure out something to get this done, because we've been fighting it here in Texas too, and it's really, really messed up. Y'all planning on doing a march in Georgia?
It was just discussed. Yes, it was definitely just discussed. Something that we're planning.
Man, we're trying to go through the legal routes. I know one case. I know a couple that's trying to go up through get it all the way up to the Supreme Court and then the Department of Justice through the government. These police officers that are doing these race crimes, we need to get them out somehow, some way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Before we lose.
Absolutely.
I'm just angry because I'm tired of people in these positions or jobs doing their job. And anyone that's listening, if you have time, go help fight. That includes those that share the same skin as I do, white folk.
Wow.
Quit ignoring it. Fight it. If you ain't fighting it, you're part of the problem. That's all I wanted to say this morning.
Good deal. Appreciate you, brother. Definitely appreciate you.
May I say something?
Hold on, Ibrahim. Come on, brother. You've been with us for a minute.
No,
Ibrahim?
I was just requesting
Okay, hold on for a
because it's
second.
very important.
Okay,
All right.
hold on. I'll come
Okay.
back to you. I want to go to doctor. Doctor, what's on your heart, sis?
I want to say 4 things, and I'll make them as quick, very quick. First of all, thank you to everybody that's spoken. My mind is going because I'm just writing down notes to just respond to each of you. And I do want to say to the gentleman who just spoke, my neighbors are non-melanated. They are white, and they said they were out videotaping on October 3rd. They said, "Don't worry, sis, we got your back because they kill people like y'all."
Yeah. Wow.
That was
Wow.
that's exactly what they said. And they were
Wow.
videotaping all these police. They didn't, have to do that. And they did,
Mhm.
And my heart goes out to those families because I'm an activist as well for domestic violence, and have been for over 20 years. And my heart goes out to those who is still considered domestic violence, it's considered domestic terrorism, all of that, to
Mhm.
those individuals who have been killed due to excessive force
Yes.
and profiling. Okay. My daughter was favored. She said to me, Mom, when they hit my car and they totaled out my car, she said, I remember for round numbers, Mom, it was probably 8 to 10 officers with guns pointed at me as
Mm.
if I had. And she said, they were telling me when I was in my car, unlock the door, hands up, unlock the door. And she said, I screamed to the witnesses, y'all, it's over. They're going to kill me. Call my mom. She said, because if I had to touch that in my anxiety, if I had to touch that lock, one of them would have killed me. She said they were looking at each other like, which one of y'all going to shoot her?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about
Wow.
8 to 10. So my daughter is truly favored. I get that. Nobody has to. I literally have restless nights just getting up praising Allah for the fact that no one did shoot her,
Mm-hmm.
because they could have. And
Yeah.
once one started, they all would have went in as if she had something or did something,
Yeah.
had a gun or
Yeah.
did something. So I will also say this, press is important. Someone did mention that they would like for me to get on. As a mother, I will gladly get on. I will say this. There's a gentleman, a young black man, who was 20 years old in Gwinnett County Jail. He was facing minor marijuana charges, did not have a bond. It was over 30 days this young man was in jail. Did not have a bond for minor
Mm-hmm.
marijuana charges. Am I excusing it? No. Is it real? Yes. That marijuana is out there. People, everybody, it's happening. But until WSB, which has denied talking to me, by the way.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
WSB TV is denied. I've I've done everything
Mm-hmm.
short of going to their office and taking a 80-pound stock paper of this press
Mhm.
release up there.
Yeah.
Okay. And they denied me, but they did air this young man's story. I will tell you that once they aired his story about Gwinnett County holding this young man, 20 years old, with minor marijuana charges and no bond, they let him out immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because they do not want anyone to, I know this in my deepest heart, they do not want anyone to investigate there. If we had $2,000 right now, as per my daughter being in there for 28 days, we could go out, and many of those people she met, hundreds of them, we can go to Gwinnett County and we could probably get 200 people out, because
Mm-hmm.
they're there for minor traffic stops that went to hell,
Mm-hmm.
and not back. And
Mm-hmm.
they're in there for $20, $50, $70, much like this gentleman. And he needs his day in their court, surely, if that's what he chooses. But they let him out as soon as they don't want this to be investigated, and it needs
Mm-hmm.
to be investigated. So
Exactly.
press, I say yes. Anybody
Mm-hmm.
who wants to talk to me, am I concerned? Are they following me? I feel that every day. Yes, I'm concerned. But I know that God is my protector. Allah is my protector. And
Yes.
so I will do press wherever I need to for my daughter.
Now, how can people get in contact with you?
They can email me at, they can call me at 470-99-WOMEN, 470-99-WOMEN, and that's 470-999-6636. They can also text me on that line as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a business line.
Give that number one more time.
470-99-WOMEN, and that's 470-999-6636.
Good deal. Good deal.
And I'm
Anybody
Dr.
else?
What's your
Denise
name again?
Abraham.
Give your name
I'm
again,
sorry.
sis.
Dr. Denise Abraham. My husband says Abraham, but
Exactly. Ibrahim, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I do want to say something. Number one, right? I would like Badger to know that if you look at the state of police violence, police violence, and we talk about the people that were killed, but the people who were injured and everything, there is actually the number is 63% of the people harmed and killed by police for whatever reason is mostly white people. The only thing that makes us stand out that we're only 12 or 13% of the population, but 20% of us over our average are killed or murdered or harmed. Well, actually more if you say that by police officers. And 80% of us in jail, and 80% of the people in jail are black people. But what this means is that we all have a vested interest as American citizens to fight for our rights. And as I say again, the police part. But I say to Dr. Ibrahim that one thing is that, and assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. One thing I'd like to say about this is that you have people like in Atlanta, you still have NAN, they're but also you got Gerald Griggs at NAACP. He worked on the Mateo Robinson case and a few other cases we worked on together, and things like that around Georgia and Atlanta. He's the president of the state of Georgia now for NAACP, so I don't know if he'll be able to give a full service to him. But but anyway, he's the legal expert as well in defense of murder victims. But the main thing is though that we have to understand is that this environment, like I said, is against the police union. But in a protest, it's three things that you spoke that they don't do in protests now, but it has been done successfully. I was with the Mount Auburn thing, and I also was up there in Louisville. And three things they did correct. One, the protest is to raise people's attention and immediate attention. Second thing in protest is, right, then you go out and raise the people's attention. The third thing is you have a specific thing you want to see done. Up in Louisville, it was a no-knock warrant spread across country, right? That was the main thing to be done. Ahmaud Arbery was that, about them being able to do that without just cause, right? And that goes about, that changed a lot of things about gun law, part of gun law, and Georgia. You just can't go out and shoot somebody. You had to have more of a profound reason there to be attacking with. So that kind of curtailed that. But however, that's what you have.
Wrap it up for me, Ibrahim.
And okay. And the last thing is that not only WSCV, you can call the news desk. I've done it plenty of times. You can call the news desk of every major TV station in the Atlanta area. Call the news desk, have your story together, and tell what you're doing and where you're going to meet and everything. And somebody will put it out there. You know what I mean? Somebody, one of the agencies will put it out there.
Good
Even
deal.
Fox News and Channel 5. So that's one thing I do, and that you should have a desk in about all the different organizations to call them, keep them informed, the newsletter. And the other thing is to have all the news desks online. We have a special event, a special thing going on. And yes, and then reach out to Panstock and some other groups that go like one thing is AJ Fraser.
Okay, Ibrahim, Ibrahim.
They will protect you out in protest or stand over and watch you. So because they do this all the time, by following people try to sway you.
Ibrahim just won't stop. He, I called his name 3 or 4 times. The brother just want to keep talking. I do have a mute button, brother. I do have a mute button. Don't want to use it, but I do have one. What I want you all to do is that number that she gave, get resources, and if you take a few minutes, text those resources that we're mentioning right now. Text those resources to that particular number. Give me the number one more time, sis.
470-999-6636. Again, 470-999-6636. And it just spells out 470-99 women, plural.
Good deal. Anybody else have anything on the heart before we end this part of the conversation?
Yeah, man. I like calling things and keeping it all the way 1,000%. Enough is enough. And I hear you call a woman sister. Say the number again, sis.
Yes.
And then once upon a time, we had the DA of Gwinnett County on your platform a few times. We actually was supporting her being elected.
Yes.
She played a big part in this. That's it.
Yeah.
I think this would have been the perfect opportunity. Would I be rude in asking if the doctor would be able to come on again and you inviting the DA on and having to address this situation head on, and let's nip this in the bud.
I would like to.
Enough.
I would like to have all of them involved, everybody involved on it at one time. As a
That's
matter of fact,
that's exactly what I'm asking.
Did you
that's
go?
What I'm asking.
Did you come to that town hall, Rico?
You open this door.
Rico, did you come to that when we did a town hall meeting? I think Cassandra, I think you was there at the town hall meeting. We had a town hall meeting about 2 years ago, and I would love to do that again. Cassandra, were you at that town hall meeting? Cassandra, is she still there?
Yeah, Raheem.
Yes.
Did you call my name?
Yes. Didn't you attend the town hall meeting? I think I had you to host it for me, right? The town hall meeting that we had?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I would love to have happen again. Yeah, I think it's time for us to do another town hall meeting and get all these people involved.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
Go ahead. In the same room. Yes, I definitely would like to be a part of that. Can I just say something really quickly? I know you're on a certain part. Can I say something?
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. I got kicked. I got off of the radio for a moment because I got a call in from one of the people that plays the Klansman for the play, the Morris Ford Bridge play that's coming up on Sunday. And she was saying that some people called her, told like she's a traitor to her people, to the white people, because she's playing the more. It's just crazy that she calls at this moment that we're talking. And this is one of the most beautiful women you ever want to meet. I'm talking inside, beautiful person, because she realized she's been doing this about 6 or 7 years as I was playing a Klanswoman and a townswoman. So just to think that people, for her telling the truth, she's standing for history. She said, Cassandra, this ain't a story that was made up. This is what happened to these couples, to the Malcolms and the Dorseys. And we're talking about it today of all days. And then she calls me because these people are like threatening her. Somebody said they'd kick her ass. So kick her. Yeah, kick her behind because she's standing up, for Black history, basically. Man, I'm telling y'all, we gotta realize what time it's like we're taking steps backwards instead of forward in this country. I don't care what nobody says. You can call it anything you want. We're taking steps backwards when it comes to race relations. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Absolutely. Doc, you wanted to say something as well?
Yeah, Miss Ibrahim, thank you so much. Please, if you can, sir, send me those that information to my text that you were speaking of. I am ready for a march. We will definitely need support. And one thing I would like to say is that it's great to talk about all of these things that we're talking about as we have over the many years. We do have to say what I believe Brother Rico said was enough is enough, and come together and understand that, that we have rights. And we don't need anybody else killed on our watch. We should say not on my watch. And we can do things peacefully. We shouldn't be profiled as that we're going to be unpeaceful with our marches. And I will leave with this, was what my daughter said when I asked her how she was feeling. And you asked me earlier, and I went to my emotional side, is she said, I am in pain.
Yeah.
But I am a descendant of God, and God fearing only, that even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for Allah is with me. For Allah's rod and staff, they comfort me. And that is where she is right now. We need your help and support. All the families, all of our ancestors that have gone through this still need our help. We're riding on their shoulders of injustice, of things that have happened to them. At the same time, we can talk all day, and this is a great platform for it. I have not seen them do any movement, and I know that the movement that will happen with the town hall is a lot of deflection. They will deflect upon the things that make them look good and make my daughter look bad, as well as anybody else they have done these things to, these injustices.
See,
to.
my thing
so we
is,
have to be careful with that.
My thing is, have to also make sure that we keep their feet to the fire.
We have to do that.
Keep their feet to the fire. So if we're gonna do a town hall meeting, we gotta go into it, and they have to come into it knowing that we're gonna ask the tough questions.
Right.
We're not gonna just let you skate.
See, Raheem, that's why I was, I'm glad she said that because
Mhm.
that I wasn't thinking, I wasn't talking about a town hall.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, but to a certain extent, I guess, addressing the DA. I mean, because listen, this platform is what was used actually to get the DA elected.
Mhm. Yeah.
She's going to play a big part in a certain level of this situation.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
A
so,
minor traffic
you know,
stop.
why shouldn't she
Yeah.
be addressed about this directly with the doctor?
Mhm.
So I mean, like I said, even if it's on this platform, it would just be good because first off, this doesn't have to be a black thing. This is something that an American citizen,
Mhm.
a human being needs to be aware. This is a human rights thing.
Exactly.
So
It
let me
is.
say first, I want to know how to get to her daughter's content. And the reason why I want to get to her daughter's content is because I want to become more aware of who she is. And then I want to be able to keep my eyes on her.
Mhm.
Wow.
Okay.
I want to make sure that I stay aware of what she's doing. And that's what we need to do as human beings because she didn't just heal black people. She healed people against the world. She wasn't just going against white people, but she was going against the system. You
Mhm.
know, pharmaceutical company, maybe the food industry. Somebody is after this girl.
Exactly.
She's
Exactly.
looking some people the wrong way. So we got to protect. We got to make sure that we remember who she is. This just can't be a story that we hear today, and then tomorrow we talking about the spirit,
Mhm. Rico,
or we
on that.
talking about something other situation. And I'm just, there's so many different things. NAACP NAACP membership is down.
Mhm. Hey.
If we had as many people show up for those meetings and being involved with that as we do for
Mm.
social events, and then we could address things like this. But this DA and the American citizens and the human beings and the people that listen to your platform will know whether or not they could vote for this DA again,
Mhm.
Right.
depending on if she even wants to address this issue.
Exactly. Exactly. And I want you to, Rico. She gave that number. Make sure you reach out to her on that number so you can get the
Please.
information that you're requesting. Make sure you do that. But I got to do something. Y'all know I got to do this every day. I got to do my shout out. I got to do my shout out. Because if I don't, when I pull the curtains down for the broadcast today, I'm gonna get a phone call. So, Mama, love you, baby. I know you're over there watching. I appreciate the fact that you're watching today. I did not forget to do your shout out, baby. I'm gonna do my shout out to Mama. Mama, love you, baby. Thanks for watching. I definitely appreciate you. Sis, you have the floor. The next minute, the floor is yours. What's on your heart?
Um, I don't even. I can't. I don't even know how to do it in a minute. I would say everything that you all have heard me say, and maybe that you didn't hear me say,
Mm-hmm.
but you feel it in your
Yes.
heart and in your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
We need your support. We need physical protection that's here. We need resources. And remember, it's not just for my daughter, it is for us as a people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, every day I drive on this main stretch in Gwinnett County. And since this incident with my daughter, all of a sudden you've got Suwannee police that sit at the top, Gwinnett police that sit at the top of that hill,
Mm.
and Georgia State Patrol that sit at the top of that hill. I will
Wow.
always have my seatbelt on because it's the right thing to do. I will
Mm-hmm.
always drive, no more than 10 miles over the speed limit
Mm-hmm.
because that's the right thing to do. I don't want to, do anything that's going to hinder anyone else or potentially hurt anyone else. But I
Mm-hmm.
know that they're sitting at the top of that hill for a reason.
Yes.
Okay. It is the most uncomfortable thing for this to be going through with my daughter. I thank Allah that she was not killed.
Yes.
They tried to kill her
Yes.
spirit. They've tried to kill
Mm-hmm.
her character, and they've tried to kill her purpose, and they will not.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need as much support as possible. Please text
Absolutely.
me. As much as I'm physically able to, I will make sure that I continue this fight for my daughter and for the rights of everybody, whether it's happened to them before, now,
Mm-hmm.
or will happen to them. I will continue
Absolutely.
this fight the peaceful way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And give that number one more time, just in case somebody missed it.
470-99 women.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, if you don't want to look at the numbers and the letters, it's 470-999-6636.
Good deal. Good deal.
May
Toussaint.
God favor all of you.
Absolutely. Likewise.
Hey, Ryan, come to me next.
Say it again.
Come to me next after Donald.
Okay. Toussaint.
No, I just been listening, and enough is enough.
Yes, sir.
We don't pay no attention to stuff like this till it's on our street,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been on our street. It just hadn't happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
But see, when it happens to one, it happens to all of us, and that's the way we got to treat this. You know, we talk about enough is enough, and so I continue to. Sister, don't know you from Adam's cat, but I'm praying for you and praying for your family, and I thank God that He is a protector. Even though we fall victim sometimes, He's still a protector. So that's about all I'm saying. I just think that we should continue to support each other.
Absolutely.
No matter whether we are affected from a distance or right around the street.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Toussaint, stay by. I'm gonna get you the prayers out today, sir. Badger, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. One of the things I learned, being the advocate, activist, and all that in my area, get the reps involved. The ones that are up there making the laws in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Get them to show up. Because they love to be able to get involved so that way they can get reelected. And you'd be surprised, some of them will. You just got to reach out to them and let them know. I got a hold of two of the reps over our area. One of them will actually be coming next month to come speak about the issues covering race and disabilities out here in the rural area. So it's go all the way up the ladder. Go talk to the DEA, talk to the rep over your area. Hold on.
We tried. We tried to talk to the DA in the very beginning.
Wow. Well, I'm looking at the clock, man. It's so much to be done. There's so much to be done, man. And this conversation, this is just the start of it, man. We need to actually revisit it again. And so I'm asking sister if she don't mind, and maybe in a month or so to come back on again and let's revisit this conversation. See what kind of progressions have we made. I can't talk at the end of the broadcast. My tongue get tired. But it's been a great broadcast. Sister, I thank you. Thank you for coming on with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me so much, brother. I really appreciate that. And, I would love if we can connect before 30 days. There's a lot that's happening, and every day our life is in danger.
Absolutely.
And our livelihood.
Absolutely. Cassandra, what's going on at 3:00 today? Oh man, hold on. I Brother Pete done snuck in on me. Brother Pete, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning? Pete, you there?
I don't know. I came in late. I'm trying to get a draw on the conversation, but I got the phone number. I have to do a follow-up, and it sounds like it's right here, so it's something that's going to have to be addressed.
Absolutely.
Like some sort of justice or possibly some homegrown terrorism going on. Typical.
Exactly.
Injustice in America presently today.
Exactly. And I wish it
can be dealt with.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I wish you would have been on during the beginning of this part of the other conversation, man. So you could have got adjusted as to what it was. But go back and watch the rebroadcast. Go back and watch the rebroadcast at 3:00 today, or just go on my page, and it's actually on my page as well. Pete, I thought I had Cassandra with me, but Pete, what's going on at 3:00 today? Put you at the test. See you know how to do this.
Well, we hope that everybody enjoys the broadcast. As of 3:00 today, they'll be doing a replay of the broadcast. So if you haven't heard it in its entirety, be sure to tune in so you can hear today's show in its fullness at 3:00 today.
On dkmmediagroup.com. www.dkmmediagroup.com. Make sure you tune in right there and watch this and help and assist. Do something. One person can't do everything, but everybody could do something.
Wow.
Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. Toussaint, pray us out, sir.
God, we come now and we have to say thank you. And we give you glory. We come now, reminded that your word is said that you are present help in the time of trouble. There's trouble in the land. The word also says many are the afflictions of the righteous, but you delivered them out of them all. We need deliverance. So manifest yourself. Life, Abraham, her family, her husband, her children, daughter, especially, and those that suffer the same consequences of evil, under the law evil. So God, we ask that you show yourself in our lives. You be God, and that's why we give you glory and praise, because we know that you have a way of working things out. So work it out in our lives, and for that we give you glory, honor, and praise, oh God. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Ashe.
Amen. Amen. I'm hearing some background noise from somebody line. Let me see who line that's coming from. Okay, good deal. Good deal. Well, we're about to get out of here for today. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DK and Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now, what time is it? Now 10:05. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple, I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other, and please, please, please be blessed. Give somebody some love and truth. They will appreciate it, and I'm sure that you will as well. Love you. See you tomorrow morning. God says the same.